right now I respect Dominic Wade because he's ready. He's
the
IBF mandatory challenger. This.
The Gennady Golovkin situation is confusing, and if you haven't been following what's going on, you can get lost in what he's trying to accomplish. He's trying to become the undisputed champion of the world. The last undisputed champion of the world was Jermaine Taylor. Now, in this era, to be undisputed champion, you have to have the WBC. He has the WBC Interim. He's the mandatory for the WBC. You have to have the WBO. Billy Joe Saunders is the WBO. Billy Joe Saunders just wanted no parts of Gennady Golovkin at this point in time. You have to have the IBF. He beat David Lemieux for the IBF title, and you have to have the WBA Super World, which he holds. Now, when Miguel Cotto lost to Canelo Alvarez, a lot of fans didn't feel, including myself, nobody felt that Golovkin and Canelo was going to happen right away, which would be May of this year, May 2016. Here we are damn near in March. Canelo's going to be fighting a smaller fighter in Amir Khan in the fight where Amir Khan is going in as the massive underdog. And you ask yourself the question, if Canelo plans on fighting Golovkin in September, which is the next logical date, then how does Amir Khan prepare Canelo for Golovkin? So that's one red flag right there. That's one sign that shows me personally, that Canelo doesn't have any plans to fight Golovkin next. One positive sign is that Oscar De La Hoya, the promoter of Gennady Golovkin, has met with Jerry Jones, the owner of Cowboy Stadium, which can seat up to 100,000 for Canelo versus Golovkin. But it's all about, what is he talking to him for the fight in September, or is he talking to him about the fight in May of 2017? So I guess the point I'm trying to make is I don't see Golovkin and Canelo fighting this year in 2016. I see it sometime in May of 2017. But here's another positive flag. Tom Lawford, the promoter of Gennady Golovkin, is saying that he has a contract stating that they have to get a deal done 15 days after Canelo versus Khan, or Canelo's going to have to vacate his title or be stripped. Now, that remains to be seen. I don't believe in any way, shape, and form the WBC is just how it is going to strip Canelo because he's Mexican. I don't believe it. And Floyd Mayweather because of an exemption. I don't believe it. So now we're in a situation where we have to think, well, after Dominic Wade, who is the mandatory for Golovkin, Golovkin has to fight mandatory, or his mandatory for the IBF, or he cannot be an undisputed champion of the world. He will be stripped, and then Dominic Wade will fight somebody for his vacated title. So he had to fight him. The IBF is the only respected organization to me, where even though their rankings may be a little shitty in some divisions, they will strip you if you don't fight your mandatory. Charles Martin is an IBF champion. Why? Because he worked his way up the rankings. But either way, Charles Martin is fighting Anthony Joshua now because sometime in the future, the IBF is going to order him to fight Anthony Joshua anyway, if you understand the boxing politics. So looking at the situation Golovkin's in, if it's not Canelo in September, and if he beats Dominic Wade, and right now, I'm not going to count Dominic Wade out fully 100% yet. He does have a chance. He's still undefeated, even though he had that nasty, ugly fight with Sam Solomon. Go back and watch it. In fact, I'm going to post a link on my like page. He still brings something to the table. Now, people are going to say, oh, this is just Golovkin just beating up on another bum. This is just Golovkin just fighting another nobody. He's got to fight this guy. People are not understanding that, or they're just looking past it. He has to fight him. So, I didn't say it. I'm T-Street Controversy. This is T-Street Controversy Live. I cover every single major fight live. Dominic Wade and Golovkin taking place LA in the Forum on HBO in April the 23rd. The real big news about this fight is that this is an Al Heyman fighter, Dominic Wade, who's fighting a HBO fighter. So which means that Al Heyman fighters can fight on HBO if Al Heyman allows you to. So that brings up a whole nother can of worms where people say, well, why not Landy Lar? But that's a whole different story. You know, we really don't know how that situation will work just yet. Also, from my understanding, Erislandy Lara is calling Golovkin out in the media, but won't get Al Heyman or his team to go to Golovkin team and say, let's make the fight. Now, would Golovkin take the fight? Tom Loeffler? I don't know. For some reason, I don't think they would, but you know, I'm not quite sure. So the next option is, if you can't, after Dominic Wade, if Golovkin beats Dominic Wade, the next option that they're saying they want to go after is they want to go after Danny Jacobs, which will be a very big fight, in my opinion. Danny Jacobs, the WBA World Champion, Gennady Golovkin, the WBA Super World Champion. What that would mean is the WBA would keep their word in eliminating the WBA secondary title like they've been saying they were going to do. The WBA has 2 titles. For the people who do know, I have to keep saying this because for the people who are watching videos for the first time, they may not understand. That's the WBA Super World and the WBA World. When Floyd Mayweather was fighting at 154 and 147, he had the WBA Super World. While at 147, Keith Thurman has the WBA World. Erislandy Lara at 154 has the WBA World. When it comes to Golovkin, he's the WBA Super World at 160. When it comes to Danny Jacobs, he's the WBA World at 160 pounds. So a somewhat consolidation of the belts for those two would be a very big fight. And then we see that Dominic Wade, a Heyman fighter, can fight on HBO, then would see the issues with a Danny Jacobs and the Golovkin fight is how do the networks play in. Now, no Al Heyman fighters are signed to networks, but they have some type of verbal agreement. And what we've been seeing is that Danny Jacobs has been fighting on Showtime and PBC. Mostly, you know, I'm thinking that his network is Showtime. What it's looking like, his network is Showtime. He beat Peter Quillen on Showtime. See, it's hard talking about these things because a lot of you don't understand the politics. Because people will say, well, you don't have a contract with Showtime, so why can't it just doesn't work like that? Even though he doesn't have a written contract, still, Showtime would want a piece of if Danny Jacobs fights Gennady Golovkin, because if Danny Jacobs fights Golovkin, in my opinion, from what I know, it would have to be on HBO. But that's looking like that's what they're going to try to go after next. Right now, the Canelo versus Golovkin situation is just looking like it's not going to happen. Also, when it comes to the catch weight, you know, Golovkin just doesn't want to go to Canelo weight. He said he would go to 154 for Mayweather, but of course anybody would drain and kill himself to fight Mayweather. But when it comes to Canelo, it's for the 160-pound championship of the world. Also, I don't understand how you can tell you're mandatory if you don't fight at this weight, I'm not going to fight you. He's a mandatory. How you going to tell him? You know, it just doesn't make sense. Maybe Canelo knows that the WBC won't strip him, or maybe he's pushing it as far as he can, as far as the threads, to see how far it goes, to see how the WBC will penalize him if he doesn't fight Golovkin. But like I said, it doesn't look like it's happening in 2016. I'm seeing May of 2017 for some reason, especially, like I said, looking at the fact of how does Amir Khan prepare Canelo for Golovkin. I would think that if he was fighting Golovkin, he would fight maybe a 160-pounder, or maybe fight a guy where he can up the catch weight to about 158 pounds or so, and maybe fight a Jorge Sebastian Highland or somebody like that. Hell, fight a David Lemieux, you know. But right now, fighting Amir Khan, it just looks like to me he just wants to beat up on a little guy, and it doesn't make me more confident to think like, oh yeah, he's gonna fight Golovkin next because he's fighting him to build up for it. But anyway, T Street Controversy. This is T Street Controversy Live. I cover every single major fight live. Please subscribe.